Meat City, baby.
Hello and welcome back to Meat City Gaming. JD here with episode 2 of the Dungeons 3 walkthrough. So we're in mission 2 now, and once again we're going to try to complete the mission and then also do the 2 bonus objectives for 3 total achievements in this mission. So the main mission will complete the objectives you can see, destroy the remaining guard buildings, conquer the good locations, and the bonus objectives are to lose no more than 3 units while completing the mission, and to gain or generate 1,000 or more total evil. So we'll do that. These are very straightforward. Again, it's the second total mission in the game, so nothing too complicated here. More of a tutorial still at this point in the game. So we're going to. This is the dungeon area now. We're down in the dungeon, and we're going to be building up rooms and doing research and those kind of things down here so that we can then build the army to go into the overworld to try and accomplish our goals. So while we're down here, the first thing we're going to do is go into the research menu. This is almost always the right choice for the first thing, is to build more of the little snots. They're basically the workers, the diggers, the builders. So getting more of those out so you have them available. They collect your gold, they build your rooms, they do everything down here. They're vital to the economy. If you don't have enough of them, you're going to get stuck and slowed down, and it will cause some trouble. So in the dungeon, we've got the dungeon heart. This is the center of the operation. This is what the heroes are going to try to attack. If this gets destroyed, it is game over, in addition to maybe some bonus loss conditions in certain missions. But if this gets attacked and taken out, it's game over. What you have here is an entrance to the dungeon. The heroes can come down here from the overworld, and they will march along the shortest path possible to get to the dungeon heart. And one of the cool aspects of the game is that you can redirect that path, and you can make it long and winding to give yourself more time to react. So I usually start by building a little bit of an extra path here once I have my economy set up, and then you can actually refill in spots that have already been dug out. So I'd fill in that spot there, and now when the heroes come in, instead of just a straight shot, they have to take this long snake all the way around. And there's more advanced stuff that you can do with this later on, but just showing the concept here. And you can see this spot will be filled back in and built up, but it can't be done until there is another valid path to the dungeon heart. So it's red for now. It's dug out, and now there's a valid path for the heroes to take. It should turn green, and now they'll build this and fill it in. So good and bad, one of the things that can happen is that you can find rooms. You can find either bonus resources, or you can find spiders or dragons, other kind of enemies that you'll have to contend with. And you can use them to your advantage, but it also comes with risk. So these dragons, sometimes, depending on the level, depending on how many there are in the setup, they will eventually themselves go after your dungeon heart. So they'll spawn. If there's a spawner in here, usually you can see it. Looks like this doesn't have a spawner, so it's just the 4 static minions, so it shouldn't be a big problem. That I don't think they'll advance on the heart, but we need to keep an eye on it. And if there's a spawner, it'll spawn minions, and they'll walk along the path and then try to attack your dungeon heart periodically. The good thing that you can do about this is they will also attack heroes. So now this is a kind of a perfect setup. Any hero that comes down, they'll enter the dungeon, they'll walk along the path, and they'll run into these dragons, and it'll be a big battle for them, and they probably won't make it through to the dungeon heart. And the other thing you can do down here is avoid. You don't have to tell your units to walk places. You can pick them up, drag them, and drop them. So if we go find Talia in our menu here, we pick her up. She's now being held in our hand here. You can see her there. And if we go over to the dungeon mouth, we can drop her in. And she didn't have to walk around that path. We can just shortcut that and send her up to the overworld. So a couple things to keep in mind. We do not want to lose any units here. So we're going to be very careful and slowly advance along here. And eventually what you want to do, again, one of the first things that you want to get up and running are your healers. Those are the serpents here. But we need some evil in order to do that. So we're not going to be able to start with them. So we're just going to take Talia for now to make sure we don't lose anybody. She should be powerful enough on her own to take out these first couple units. And if we need to retreat her back downstairs, we can do that. The units on your army will use their special abilities automatically, but it is usually going to be more efficient, more effective for you to manually use them when you can. Alright, we are through that patrol, and we can see there are some enemies here, and this, you can see on the mini-map, down on the left is the overworld map, and down on the right is the dungeon map, and you can switch between the two locations very easily. So this is a location here, you can see that icon. This is an evil generator. There will be a patrol there. If we take that patrol out, it will then start to generate evil, which is the resource that we need to do our research and to get more advanced units into play. Alright, we're going to get our guys digging again. Should have been doing that very early on. Again, not too much of a problem here in this early mission, and as I'm explaining things, I'm not quite up to speed on my micromanagement, but not a problem. We'll launch a big attack, and one of the things you want to try and do here is get healers first when you can. We're kind of being blocked there right now. The rogue is in the way, and that rogue will get healed, as you can see there, by the priest, so that's not going to work. So now we'll take Talia back down, and we'll get her a little bit of support. And while she's down there, she'll heal up, and then we'll just make sure that we don't lose any of our units while we're engaging these first couple battles till we get our healers up and running. And again, we don't want Talia to walk through the dragons because she would probably get taken out. So we'll drop her back here close to the base. And we'll get a horde room set up, a hideout set up. This is basically, you need to do everything down here. You need to supply a bed for your minions to sleep in. You need to provide a food source for them to eat. You need to provide a magic generator and magic storage and lots of other stuff that will eventually come into play. But for now, things are still pretty simple. We will, let's dig out here and get some food production going. And we'll get another little snot generated. And let's do a second one, why not? So if we add in another ogre, we can see that they're building their beds for them over here in the hideout, and those will go down for each unit as they're added to your army. Let's see, we got a buff, so we'll give this to one of our tanks. The ogres here kind of act as tanks. They are the frontline unit. They'll soak up the damage, so we'll give him some extra defense. And we'll let Talia kind of stand behind and launch her magic. So if we go in here, do we need to... I think we need to research the Gobbler Farm. And that does not take any evil, so you can just do that. And we'll build that here. And the secret to these things, there's more little tips and tricks as we go along, but the effectiveness of the rooms is based on how enclosed they are. So how fast this farm will generate turkeys for the minions in our army to eat is based on its effectiveness, its efficiency. You can see there it's 40%. It's really low because we've got all this adjacent open space. If we'll actually fill this spot in, and then if we expand the farm to take up all of the adjacent spaces, so now it's completely enclosed, except for just this one opening here, the efficiency should be up to 90%, and the space will be much more effectively used in terms of generating turkeys at a faster rate. Again, not a big problem here in the first level, but it becomes so later. And there you can see efficiency now is up to 90%. And later on, you can build doors. If you put a door across the open space, you can even get to 100%. All right, so we are going to put down one more orc. Goblins are high damage units, but they're weak in terms of their hit points and their armor. You can see here. So we don't want goblins because they could die, and the whole point here is to get through this without losing any of our units. And I think we're going to save the last 2 spots for the healers. So we'll grab these units, and we'll head up to the underground, and you can press B to drop individual units, or you can hold B to drop all the units that you're holding. Much more effective when you've got large armies of units, which will be happening later on in the other missions in this game. So while we're doing this next battle, I do want to talk about one of the major problems I had with the game and how I was able to get around it. Hopefully it's not an issue for you. Maybe it's just a kind of a unique thing that I ran into. But whenever I played the game, if I continued a mission from a previous play session, or finished up for the night, left the Xbox, do whatever, power down the console, and then came back the next day to pick up where I left off, the achievements would not pop. They wouldn't work. I could complete the level and I wouldn't even get the achievement for completing the level. I would have to do a hard power down at the start of each play session each time I wanted to play dungeons. So I would go in, hit the push and hold the power button on my Xbox controller, on the Xbox One console, power it all the way down, and then come all the way back, power it back up, full restart, and then when I got done with that, I would start the game and play, and it would be fine. So there we can see we used a little bait and switch, got to that healing potion, got our units healed up so we weren't losing anybody, and now we're going to get this healer down again. So that was a big problem, and it was every single time. And some of these missions can take quite a while. They can be an hour or more to get through a mission, and it can be that long to find out if you get the achievement. So to spend all that time, get to the end of the mission, and then not have the achievement pop and realize you've got to do it again, super annoying. So I just got in the habit every time I wanted to play the game. I did a hard reset, powered all the way down, then came back, powered up, played the game, and didn't have any issue. So if you notice a problem early on, try that solution and then just adopt that practice when you're playing. So you can see that we eliminated that patrol, we took over the evil generator, and now we've got the resource coming in terms of evil, and we can use that to start to do some research. So again, the most important research here is going to be the Naga, that's the healer. And we can go downstairs now, and I think we should be able to produce 2 of them. So we'll do that. They're going to drop in here. We're going to pick them up, throw them in the door. And now we'll grab these guys and bring them into the party, and you'll see them start to send out a heal beam. They can't heal all the units that you have in the game. There's Horde, Undead, and Demons. They can only heal the Horde units, but you'll pretty much always have Horde units, and so they're kind of the backbone of the army, and so having the tanks and then the healers is going to be a pretty sound strategy for most of the levels in the game. So as we get topped off here, we'll look to advance to the next location, and we need to destroy the guard buildings. So those are the blue icons on the map you can see here, and then there's going to be another evil generator here, and there's another guard building, and then I think the third one is... Oh, that's actually another evil generator. I think the third one is right here. Yep. So that's the plan, and all we need to do is not lose units and then generate 1,000 evil. So this fountain is just generating it automatically, so just don't go too fast, and eventually you will have enough to pop that achievement. So most crossroads include a guard section. Yep, there's the one for this area. Again, you don't want to just click and advance through and then have these guys following you, and then you run into a second patrol and you get sandwiched. That's when you can start to lose units and lose the bonus achievement for this stage. But now that we've got healers, you can see there's just sending out some assistance there. They can really keep the tanks topped off, and you can kind of get through this much easier than if you were trying to do it without the healers. You need to be running back and forth and kind of training the mobs to you, resting, going back and forth a whole bunch of times. But now that we've got healers, it's pretty easy. And we'll save that just in case. Again, the healers will get us all topped off, so no need to use that heal potion. We'll leave it on the ground. And then here in the upgrade section, we'll get one more little digger, even though we don't really need them right now. We can increase the size of our army by 2, and that doesn't cost any evil, so that's always one of the first upgrades you can do, because you can do that without capturing an evil generator. And the other thing you can do is upgrade Talia here early on to make her stronger, have more health, and deal more damage, which are both very valuable. So we'll go back down, and I think we'll get one more orc, And we will grab a goblin. I think we're safe enough. They do put out some pretty good damage. Just having one of them at this point, I think will be okay. And we do want to be able to deal damage a little more quickly. The ogres are good at taking damage, but they are super slow in terms of dishing it out. And we'll give Talia 2 upgrades.
More power.
And once our help arrives here, we'll move on to the next location. So as the units fight, they gain levels. You can see Talia doesn't. You need to upgrade her to get her levels to go up. But the other units, you can see the ogres are at level 2. As they go up in levels, they get stronger. They get more health. They do more damage, and eventually you can do research to upgrade them to be even better at the job that they're doing once they reach certain levels, and you have the research unlocked. So we're going to use Talia's special. I think it also does a knockdown, which is good when your units are in there. Lets them get some free damage, lets them recover some health from the healers. And I think there is... And I think there's something else in here. We'll take a quick look around, see if there's any book or bonus, or is it just the path to the next area? So we'll continue our upgrades. Again, things are pretty basic here. We don't quite have enough evil yet. Let's go for, again, the novice, the priestess, or the mage, whatever you want to call them. They're the healer. You want to try and get them first if you can, because otherwise you'll just be beating on the tanks, and then they'll be getting healed, just like the strategy we're trying to employ. Healer down. First warrior down. We'll get the second. And a little bit of damage taken, but not too bad. Oh, and then actually there was a shortcut there. Sometimes your units will help you out and identify those shortcuts by going to attack them right away. And that can be a handy shortcut for any reinforcements we decide to bring in.
I'm the queen of evil.
It's payday.
Next group, again, very small. We outnumber them greatly. No need to be overly cautious in terms of healing all the way up. We'll be able to blast through this. Training wheels are definitely still on in these early stages. So gunners are interesting. They throw out these stationary guns, and they dish out a ton of damage, but they're usually very, very weak. So I do make an exception. I try to take those out. I don't think they can be healed. So I take them down first, and then we'll switch to the healer, and then we'll go for the gunners and work through them in a nice, efficient order, trying to get them down as quick as possible. And then we'll just give our guys a second to heal up.
There are enemies in your dungeon.
Hey, where does this...
So we got a notification that there are enemies in the dungeon, but I think we'll go here and check in just a minute. And we'll see that the dragons are probably going to take care of them for us. Yep, so here we go. You can see they advanced and got absolutely nowhere, and the dragons completely took care of them. Those are definitely high-level dragons. You can see by the number of squares there. We could probably take them out, but there's no need to. It's not part of the mission, and we would only risk losing our guys. So no need to do that right now, other than increasing our levels. We wouldn't gain anything from it. And we have enough now. We could increase our army size. There we go. We can see we collected enough evilness, so that was 1,000 total. We spent a couple on upgrades as we were going, but it's just a running total. You don't need to have 1,000 in the bank. You just need to have collected 1,000 total. So very easy to do. It will happen as long as you don't just blaze through the mission as fast as possible. And now the only thing we need to do is be careful we don't lose any units. So we'll grab a couple more, we'll grab another healer, and we want to make sure we've got enough space for them in terms of bedding. The units do have needs or wants, and if they're not met, if they don't have a bed, if they don't have enough food, the other things that they need, they will go on strike. They'll refuse orders, and if that happened in the middle of a battle, that could be bad. That means I could lose a unit. And in the higher difficulties, that can certainly cause some problems. So something you want to try to avoid. Just make sure you're expanding the place that you have enough beds for them, and that you're expanding your farm so that you have enough food as well. And getting a spider nest there was not ideal. They don't look like they're going to advance, so again, we'll just kind of ignore them for now. And this book is Life Regeneration, so again, we'll give that to our other tank who's going to be on the front lines. And we're going to start to advance here very quickly. We'll clean up the rest of the mission and be done here. Another upgrade for Talia. When she gets to level 5, she gets an additional spell where... Oh, she has it now, actually. If we do right trigger and Y, it will summon 3 of those shadows that we controlled in the first mission. Helps do some extra damage, helps control the enemies. It's a distraction. It's a really good skill. So getting to that level 5 is the important step, because that's when she unlocks that second spell. And this area is still clear. Sometimes, because there are building generating units or unit generating buildings in this level, they can send guys back out to repopulate areas or to invade the dungeon. So you want to be careful, because those buildings are in this level. Just because we cleared it once doesn't mean they haven't come back. And we'll cast both our spells. There you can see the little shadows come out.
It's payday.
And pretty straightforward fight.
Huh? The armies of evil here? Damn it all, how did that happen? Time to call out the heavy guns. Right, men, get ready to attack in waves. Excuse me, sir. Wouldn't it make more sense if we attacked...
And a little dangerous here. We do have 2 groups coming in, but we've got Talia's spell ready, so we'll use that.
Thanks to the enemy's limited...
And that should be enough to get us through the fight without losing anybody. Looks like our guys are hurt, but no one's hurt too bad. And no, the bonus wraiths or shadows or whatever they are. Losing them, they die after a certain amount of time. After they've been summoned, they automatically die no matter what. They do not count towards your lost unit count for this mission. So no worries about avoiding that upgrade in order to prevent those lost units from counting against you. Not the case here. You can lose them in this mission and all other missions where that is a factor without any problem. And we're going to top off that one last unit. Do a little upgrade.
I am even stronger.
And that is a problem. So he wasn't down there with us. Let's send him up. Another book. Let's check it out. Critical hit bonus. So that one we'll give to Talia, since she's just going to be standing in the back throwing spells. And we should be able to go up here and take this third evil generator. And then the last two buildings, and we'll be all set. So you can see our units have reached level 3, and that's kind of an inflection point for the units in the game. Going to level 4 requires additional resources. For horde units, it's beer, which is something you have to research and we can't quite use at this stage in the game. And when they get to level 4, they can become those upgraded versions of the units. The ogres become iron hides. They get bigger armor and more health bars. Just they become much better tanks. And it looks like our units are in good shape, so we can keep advancing. I'll take out this little patrol here. And quickly nuke the healer. Now we're going to get those guns down. I want to leave them up. 1 down. 2 down. Healer down. And the 2 gunners will go down very quickly.
Can you please just stop with the golem thing? We already had too many Lord of the Rings gags in the last 2 games.
And this should be the last part here. We'll go and take out this group. And then this building should do it. We take this out, that should be the end of the mission. And as long as we didn't lose 3 units, we should get our second bonus achievement along with the mission complete.
Talia and the destructive Evil's army had succeeded in destroying Twistram and the surrounding area. Good no longer existed in this land.
What the hell happened here?
So that could be... Okay, so my controller did die during that mission. I was worried it caused the achievements to bug, but they did in fact pop. They just didn't show at the bottom of the screen. So there you can see was collecting the right amount of evil. There we did get the bonus achievement, no one has to die with few creatures lost, and there is the mission, the achievement for completing the mission. So we did get them, they just didn't pop in normal fashion. Again, achievements are a bit glitchy here. If you have a controller battery die, if you have left your console on from last night, anything like that can cause problems. So before I do the next mission and the next video, I am definitely going to be doing a hard reset, powering down, and then coming back fresh. So hopefully you'll join me for that in the next video. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.